Right now at 6 on Connecticut's news station, several firefighters were hurt while battling a 3-alarm house fire in New Haven.
Cracking down on ATVs in Waterbury will tell you how a recent decision will cost offenders of a new policy.
Former President Trump has selected Senator J.D. Vance to be his vice presidential candidate. We'll tell you what Senator Vance had to say about his nomination.
All local, all morning. This is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good morning, sunshine. 6 o'clock on this Tuesday. Thank you for joining us here on Fox 61 and Fox 61 Plus. It's a beautiful start to the day out there.
Yes, it is. Now, granted, it's already warm right now. And with feels like temperatures getting up into the triple digits in some parts of Connecticut today, there are 3 other digits you should know about on really hot days like this.
Yes, we're talking about 211. Remember that number. If you or someone you know needs a bit of help, call 211 for detailed information on cooling centers and other important resources. You can find the link to 211's website on fox61.com. So now we're going to check in with Matt on just how hot it's going to get today.
So the temperature's a little warmer today, as if yesterday wasn't high enough, getting into the mid to upper 90s for some of you. I think some of you actually may make a run at triple digits before you even factor in the heat index. Warm and muggy start, to say the least. Record heat 96 is the old one. I think 97, 98, 99. Could we get to triple digits on the bank clock thermometers? It's possible. Evening storms, 1 or 2 of them, again, may be strong. Severe weather risk from the Storm Prediction Center has western Connecticut, west of I-91, under a slight risk for some severe weather later on this evening. Satellite radar picture not showing anything around here now. A little rain from overnight has already moved well up into Maine, firing up back in the back country. Rest of us are okay, and that we're not seeing rain. We are feeling the juice in a whole different way. 73 in Hartford, 74 New Haven, 73 in Groton. Look at your dew points. A little drier air trying to work in on the western side of the state, but don't worry. If you're looking for the muggies, it's going to win out. Here's the guidance later on tonight. You're not going to see much, but where you do see some activity, it does get strong quickly. So we'll be watching for that, much like we did yesterday. Forecast details getting into the mid to upper 90s with just a slight risk for storms later on in the evening. Most of you stay dry. Some of you will have to take cover quickly. Talk about the break in the forecast in terms of when we are going to break the numbers, break the humidity, and settle things down a bit. We've got that coming up in a few minutes. 6:02. Let's go to the roads right now. Hey, Symphony, what you got?
Alrighty, thank you, Matt. Checking out how things are shaping up in the 6 o'clock hour this morning, and it looks like things are pretty smooth so far. As we start with a live look at Hartford, the sun coming up on this Tuesday morning. Nice start to the day out there. Drive time's looking good. No delays reported on 91 South, 84 East, or Route 2. We have your next update coming up at 6:30.
8 people are out of their homes this morning after a fire in New Haven, in which 4 firefighters were hurt.
Yeah, several crews responded, putting crews outside the city on standby for other emergencies. Fox 61's Brooke Griffin joining us live outside the house on Dixwell Avenue. Brooke, how badly was the home damaged?
Well, now that we're getting the sun up, you can kind of see a little bit better. You can see that it's actually very, very bad. The whole front of the house, top of the house really is charred. There's a giant hole in the roof. A lot of the windows are knocked out. So significant damage here. I dare say that family will not be coming back. Any of those families will be coming back to this home. Now, firefighters did just leave this scene. They kind of came back for a few hours to put some water on some hot spots. They sprayed the house next to it even, but they've since left it. They weren't here for very long at this point, but the call did come in around 7 o'clock last night. When firefighters arrived, they found the home engulfed in flames, and fire quickly went to 3 alarms, meaning that a lot of firefighters had to respond to this street. Mayor Justin Elliker says 7 adults and 1 child live here. All of them were able to get out safely. The Red Cross is now working with those 8 victims as they find a new place to live. The chief says 4 firefighters were hurt, 3 of whom were taken to the hospital, but he didn't say if those injuries were heat or firefighting related. He tells us that this was a pretty challenging call for several reasons.
Stubborn fire. With a building of this type of construction, there are knee walls, there's a large attic space, there's the fire load itself, and not being able to place the origin right away, there was heavy fire throughout the structure on arrival. So just getting in, getting to the seat of the fire, it was stubborn.
And he says he doesn't know exactly how this fire started or even where in the house it originated. They say that's something the fire marshals are investigating, and they will continue to look into exactly what happened here. Live in New Haven, Brooke Griffin, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Okay, Brooke, thank you. Yeah, sorry to see that house. Looks like it might be a total loss.
Yeah. All right, 6:05 now. It's a problem we report on pretty often here in Connecticut, especially during the summer. We are talking about illegal dirt bikes and ATVs just ripping up the roads.
Yeah, well, Waterbury city leaders just stiffened the penalties for doing so. Fox 61's Angelo Bavaro joins us now live outside City Hall. Angelo, I guess the mayor was one of the people who was really pushing for this.
Hey, good morning, guys. And the mayor hoping that these latest efforts, ordinance changes we're talking about here, will only build on the work that the city is already doing to fight against these illegal dirt bikes and ATVs. The city's police department does currently have a task force in place dedicated to getting these vehicles off the roads, which the mayor says has helped in tackling this issue. And that leads to this latest effort that we're talking about here, and that would be the city's Board of Aldermen passing those ordinance changes unanimously last night. Specifically, we are talking about the ordinances concerning recreational vehicles. So starting next month, the minimum fine for a first-time offender, that will increase to $1,000, and the maximum fine, that will rise to $2,000. This all coming as a sigh of relief for neighbors who have been calling for stricter penalties for years.
This ATV situation has gotten out of hand where the safety and the quality of life for everybody in this city is at risk. And I'm getting sick and tired of riding around in our Waterbury streets with these people running not only on the street but on the sidewalks, endangering the pedestrians as well as the people in their vehicle.
Now, in addition to those steeper fines, owners whose vehicles are seized by the city will have to pay fines and also show proof of ownership within 30 days to get their vehicle back. If they don't do that, the city can auction it off, and that money will also go into the general fund. Now, these changes here in Waterbury are in line with state law. However, local leaders are hoping to enforce even stricter penalties with the help of state lawmakers at the Capitol over in Hartford. We'll talk more about that effort and that hope coming up in the next hour. We are live in Waterbury this morning. I'm Angelo Bavaro, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Angelo, thank you for that report. All right, 6:07. There is a court date today for a man accused of beating a nonverbal special needs student. 53-year-old Andre Dickens is facing a charge of second-degree assault on a disabled person. Dickens works at a vocational rehab program in Trumbull. Police said the victim had deep cuts and facial injuries. They said Dickens claimed the victim fell, but officers said they have surveillance video of the attack.
Well, today, Michelle Troconis is due back in Stamford Superior Court to ask for a public defender. Troconis, who was convicted earlier this year for her role in the disappearance and presumed death of Jennifer Farber-Dulos, says she can't afford an attorney. She needs a public defender to help her appeal her 6 convictions. Fox 61's Julia LeBlanc will be in the courtroom to bring you any new developments.
Connecticut, the Constitution State, the arsenal of democracy, and the home of the 2-time, soon-to-be 3-time NCAA men's basketball champion UConn Huskies, proudly cast 28 votes for the 45th president and soon-to-be 47th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Oh, you heard it there. Connecticut Republicans said they stand with Donald Trump. The former president, as you can see, made an appearance at the Republican National Convention last night in Milwaukee with a bandage covering his right ear, which was hurt in a failed assassination attempt on Saturday.
Former President Trump officially nominated for the 3rd time in a row to represent the Republican ticket in November.
And yesterday he announced Ohio Senator J.D. Vance will be his running mate this time around. As for Vance, he's 39 years old, a former Marine who served in Iraq, and a graduate of Ohio State University and Yale Law School. He first got the spotlight in 2016 for his best-selling memoir, Hillbilly Elegy. Now, back then, he was a never-Trumper, but has since changed his views and really had changed his views on Trump by the time he was elected to the Senate for Ohio 2 years ago.
but I served my country successfully in the United States Marine Corps. I had a successful business career, and I have the vision and the agenda aligned with President Trump to make the American worker better off, to bring peace to the world, and to actually advance an agenda that's good for American citizens.
After his nomination, Vice President Harris called Senator Vance to welcome him to the race and express her hope that they will meet on the debate stage soon. As the convention started, President Biden spoke with NBC News' Lester Holt on what he means by taking the temperature down at this point in the campaign. It comes after the attempted assassination of former President Trump. President Biden says, while it's important to stay calm, there are some topics that are unavoidable.
How do you talk about the threat to democracy, which is real, when a president says things like he says? Do you just not say anything because it may incite somebody?
President Biden also telling NBC that it was a mistake to say he wanted to put a bullseye on the Republican nominee during a private call with donors last week. But he argued that Trump's rhetoric has been far more harsh.
President Biden also called for Secret Service protection going forward for independent presidential candidate Robert Kennedy Jr. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas made that announcement this week. Now, Kennedy is considered a long shot to win the race, but his campaign events have drawn large crowds of supporters. And his campaign has been asking the president for Secret Service protection for months. Well, you can count on Connecticut's news station for complete coverage surrounding the election from now through Inauguration Day.